The damp air hung thick with an unsettling stillness as Helen trudged along the path through the old woods on the outskirts of town. Shadows clung to the gnarled branches, twisting and curling like fingers, reaching out to snatch her away. Each step felt weighted, as if the earth was reluctant to let her pass, and the fading light cast eerie shapes that danced at the corners of her vision. She had once loved these woods, explored every nook and cranny as a child. Now they felt foreign, imbued with a heaviness. The rustling leaves whispered unintelligibly, secrets she dared not know. Helen quickened her pace, glancing over her shoulder, as if she could escape the sensation of being watched. A soft sigh, barely perceptible, floated through the air, making the tiny hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. She stopped, heart racing, straining to hear. Nothing but silence answered. Trying to dismiss the feeling as nerves, she pressed on further, her feet crunching against the brittle twigs that lay scattered on the ground. As day turned to dusk, the trees grew denser, swallowing the light. The path was fading, and she couldn't shake the sense that she was veering off course. Suddenly, she stumbled into a clearing, and before her eyes loomed an ancient well, its surface covered in dark moss and grime, like a long-forgotten relic of despair. The well drew her in, an inexplicable force pulling at her, and she approached, peering down into the inky darkness. The air smelled damp and cold, and she could have sworn she heard soft sobbing echoing from the depths. "Hello?" she called into the void, her voice trembling. Silence thickened the air once more, and with growing dread she leaned closer. The well's walls appeared slick, glistening with moisture and shadows. The sobbing resumed, growing louder, more frantic, yet she couldn't tell if it was outside or inside her own head. Feeling unsteady, she stumbled backward, falling to the ground. As she sat up, her gaze was drawn to the trees surrounding the clearing. Their branches, previously still, now swayed as if responding to a silent command. A low humming vibrated through the air, twisting around her, suffocating the mundane with a melody that felt so achingly familiar, yet profoundly wrong. Panic surged through her veins, and she scrambled to her feet, prepared to run, but something compelled her to look back toward the well. It was no longer just a pit. Something dark and formless began to ascend its depths, rising, twisting, morphing until a face broke the surface, afraid yet familiar. It was her own face, twisted with agony, a haunting reflection of her darkest fears and deepest regrets. "No," she gasped, stepping back, but roots snaked around her ankles, anchoring her in place. The face smiled, tears streaming down her cheeks, whispering secrets she dared not listen to. The hum reached a crescendo, and the woods came alive, the trees now closing in, their branches clawing at her as if they were about to take her, to join her other self in the abyss. Desperation clawed at her throat as she fought against the roots, but it was too late. The woods echoed with her scream, an echo swallowed by the darkness. As silence returned, the clearing was just as it had been, still, haunted, and lonely. The well stood untouched, waiting patiently for its next visitor, while the trees resumed their quiet watch, shadows dancing as the wind carried away the sorrowful song of a woman lost in the depths of her own despair.